Secretary, for your statement. Do you think it's ever appropriate for the President to use his office to solicit investigations into a domestic political opponent?
My apologies. Soliciting investigations into a domestic political opponent, I don't think that would be in accord with our values.
As the Deputy Secretary of State, are you aware of any other efforts by the President or anyone else to encourage, suggest, or request that a foreign government investigate one of the President's political rivals?
I'm not aware of any such, Senator.
Not to President Xi?
No,
Prime Minister May?
I'm not aware of that, Senator.
You relayed to me in our meeting yesterday that you personally had met Ambassador Yovanovitch in Kiev earlier this year. Is that correct?
Last year, actually.
Last year, okay. So you would agree that she served the Department of State and represented the United States capably and admirably?
I told her so.
Yet you were the one who told Ambassador Yovanovitch that she was being recalled early, correct?
I did.
In your view, was there any basis to recall Ambassador Yovanovitch early?
Yes, there was. The President had lost confidence in her.
The President had lost confidence in her.
Yes.
And you were told that by the Secretary of State.
I was.
Did you ask why he lost confidence in her?
Yes.
And what was the answer?
I was told that he had lost confidence in her, period.
Well, that's not a why. He just lost confidence in her. Didn't explain why.
You asked if I asked. I asked what I was told was that
and the answer you got was that he
had lost confidence.
He didn't explain why he lost confidence in her.
Ukraine.
You were aware that there were individuals and forces outside of the State Department seeking to smear Ambassador Yovanovitch. Is that correct?
I was.
And to seeking to remove her. Is that correct?
I was.
And did you know Mr. Giuliani was one of those people?
I believed he was, yes.
When, in fact, this came about, did you ever personally advocate for a statement of support on behalf of Ambassador Yovanovitch?
At the time of her removal, I did not.
So let me turn then to some of these other questions. What did you know about a shadow Ukraine policy being carried out by Rudy Giuliani?
My knowledge in the spring and summer of this year about any involvement of Mr. Giuliani was in connection with a campaign against our ambassador to Ukraine.
The national interest and security of the United States.
So when the President loses confidence in the ambassador, right or wrong, the ambassador needs to come home.
Well, I'll just close by saying I appreciate you told me that story, and I appreciate hearing it again. When the President loses faith in an ambassador because of political reasons, not because of policy reasons, not because the ambassador has been disloyal to the United States, not because the ambassador's not doing their job, when it is because surrogates like Mr. Giuliani and others who have political and economic interests are pushing against our ambassador, I would have hoped that you would have spoken up a lot more loudly. And if you get this position, I would expect you, if that happens to our people in the U.S. Embassy in Russia, that you will speak up much more forcefully. Because that's the essence of being an ambassador. Yes, to represent the nation, but also to defend the men and women who work every day and should be insulated from that type of political consequence. And so this is something that, with the experience you just told me about, I would have thought that you would have been more forceful. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Romney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And